guys, welcome to Tinderbox. I am Tinder and this is where I speak my truth, my whole truth, and nothing but my truth. So guys, today I brought you to my office. I've been procrastinating about this video for so long and I never got a chance to record it. So today is Friday. And the video is due today, so I decided, you know what, I'm going to the office. It's almost like I live in my office, so I was like, okay, I'll just do this in the office. So here we are in the office and I hope we have a very good session today. So guys, thank you so much for all the love you gave me on my last video. I thoroughly enjoyed reading your feedback and all the comments on Facebook and on YouTube. And to everybody that subscribed to the channel and everybody that shared the video, thank you so much. I am so flattered. I have to say, I am absolutely flattered and I'm so thankful. And this is exactly why I'm doing this. I want to bring a different type of conversation to the table. And guys, I promise I will not disappoint. So stick with me, okay? So today's topic is another one that is quite important to me. I mean, this one is actually giving me goosebumps. The thought of it is a little bit touchy and it's very close to home, and I'll explain why. Anyone that knows about my family situation knows that I was brought up by a mostly single mom. I will say mostly because at some point my mom got married to an amazing guy who was an amazing dad to us, but unfortunately he passed away, so mom went back to being a single mother. And the reason that this is very important to me is because of the double standards people apply when it comes to moms versus dads. Now this will trickle down to single parents, but let's start with moms and dads. It absolutely frustrates me every time I go on my social media account and I see a photo of a man doing dad things with his children and everybody is exalting this man. I mean, the guy might be feeding the child or playing with the child or doing very mundane things and everybody will be like, oh my God, you're such an amazing dad. You are the liberator of all humanity. You are amazeballs. But I see women doing all that and more every single day and nobody tends to even notice because yeah, moms are meant to do that. And nobody is meant to thank them for anything. I mean, I'm not saying that parents should be constantly congratulated for doing things with their children because, come on guys, what do you expect when you have children? Of course, it's not about rainbows and unicorns. It's about taking care of this human being. And it comes with a lot of responsibility. So people are not going to congratulate you for every single thing you do with your child. But what I'm asking for is a bit of fairness when it comes to acknowledging what moms do versus what dads do. Now, when it comes down to single parenting, we have to agree that women get a raw deal and the gender disparity is very obvious. Now, a lot of single parent families are not planned. A lot of times boy meets girl, girl and boy have kids, girl and boy fall out, and then boy burgers off and leaves kids with girl. That is what usually happens. There are very few situations where someone is very engrossed with their career and one day they wake up and they say, oh my fuck, I totally forgot to have kids, so let me have kids. And those kids are planned. Or they might be adopted, or it might be a situation where it's a surrogacy. So there are many ways that kids come into our lives, but in most cases it is boy meets girl and they have kids. But why is it that when boy buggers off, girl keeps the kids? I mean, who came up with those rules? And I just stumbled on this YouTube video titled Why You Should Not Date a Single Mom. And some of the comments on that video made me want to die. Like, I nearly died. One of the guys said that taking care of another man's children is like doing time for someone else's crime. Another one said that children are like farts, you only like your fart. And I mean, some of those comments were ridiculous and they got me thinking about this whole situation. And I mean, let's be real, at my age, chances are that I will meet a man that has a child or children plus a few baby mamas. That's the reality. Whether he lives with his children or not, most men my age have kids. That is a reality. So why is it so acceptable for women to date men that have children? Who decides that it's okay to do time for someone else's crime? You know what I mean? I know a lot of single mothers. I have family members that are single mothers. I have friends that are single mothers. I have worked with so many people that are single mothers. My mother is a single mother, and I know what these women have to go through for their children. And when the world is so cruel and judgmental to every misgiving, then it becomes a problem. So two scenarios. One, you walk into a man's office and on his desk he has photos of his little bambinos spread out. Then you walk into a woman's office and on her desk she has photos of her little bambinos spread out. Similar as the scenarios are, these people will be judged differently. That's the truth. People will walk into the man's office and in their heads they will be like, oh my god, he is so amazing, look at his kids, he is such a proud dad, he must be working so hard to basically provide for his children, and people will be more willing to build a very good relationship with that man. But then people will walk into the woman's office and they'll be like, oh my fucking gosh, she is not committed to this job. Her priorities are totally twisted. She doesn't know how to leave her kids at home. And most of the people will not even give her a chance because in their heads they have already built this little picture that she is not committed to work. But who comes up with the idea that children are meant to be a woman's responsibility and that when a man leaves, he can take his little hand luggage and drag it out of the house and let the woman keep the kids and go start a new life? Who comes up with those rules? Now, anybody that knows the ideology of intensive mothering knows that it is based on three factors. One, that a mother's love is irreplaceable. Like, there's no love like a mother's love. Nobody can ever love you like your mother can love you. And no matter how many loves you get out there, they will never amount to your mother's love. Two, that a woman is meant to invest everything she has. So her money, her time, her strength, her everything, all the resources she has have to go on this child. So basically a woman is meant to revolve around a child, and it does not matter whether she dies doing it, she just has to do it because that's her job. And then the third one is where kids are basically priceless. They are innocent, they are pure and priceless, and it is a mother's job to maintain that kind of purity. So when you look at these three factors, they can't happen without a mother, and that is intensive mothering. But who's the beneficiary of this intensive mothering ideology? Who do you think benefits from the fact that there's no love like a mother's love, from the fact that a woman is meant to dump everything on this child, and from the fact that a woman should do everything to maintain this child's purity? Men. And that is why a man will be like, whoa, 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 whoa. I can't take care of this child like the mom can. My love is not a mother's love. I can't invest everything on this child. I can never be enough for this child. So that's why I'll pack my little hand luggage and stroll out of your life and let you carry on with your child. Maybe I will pay some child support. I might see the child every now and then, but you keep the child. That is what the ideology of intensive mothering does to a society. It makes us feel like a child can never survive without its mother. Now this takes me to the Kingdom of Sweden. The Swedes are very, very progressive when it comes to gender equality, and gender awareness is taught to kids at such a young age. So while other kids are growing up with Cinderella, Rapunzel, Beauty and the Beast, and the Princess and the Frog, Swedish kids are not encouraged to read fairy tales because what fairy tales do, they encourage the notion that men are liberators, men are Prince Charming, and they are here to basically sweep us off our feet and take us to some faraway land where we will live happily ever after. And I especially love their parental leave policy where both men and women are given time off when they have kids. So you get 16 months, and if you're a couple, you can share the 16 months however you want to, but the men must take time off. That's the rule. If you're a single parent, you take the whole 16 months. Now guys, 16 months is very, very generous. And the Swedes pay very high taxes, but they don't mind doing that because they can see what the money is doing for their community. So they can see what the money is doing for education, for the health system, they can see what it's doing for the welfare system, and they're quite proud of the fact that the system will take care of everybody from cradle to coffin. That is such an amazing concept. And there's a very popular culture, they call it latte dance. Now this is where you see very young trendy guys pushing prams and carrying kids on slings and hanging out in cafes, sipping coffee while the kids have play dates and the kids just hang out and it's just men. And that is normal. I mean, how cool is that? These kids grow up seeing daddy taking care of their siblings, and they know that it's not mommy's work because they come from a system that actually lets them know that whether you're a boy or a girl, you can do whatever you want with your life. If you're a boy and you want to stay home with the kids, you can definitely do that. If you're a girl and you want to play with big toys, you can definitely do that. And this reminds me of what happened during the 2 world wars. Now, before the wars, women were never allowed to do any other jobs apart from being secretaries or typists or this fancy female jobs. But when the men vacated their jobs and went to war, the women had to drive the buses, they had to run the trains, they had to do all these industrial jobs that men never let them do when they were around. So if women can do what men can do, why can't men do what women can do? Why are we applying these double standards? And how is it so wrong when a man dates a woman that has kids? These are the questions we have to ask ourselves. So what are the 3 points from this discussion? 1, parental responsibility is everybody's responsibility. So as a dad, when you are feeding your child, putting your child to bed, doing the school run, you should not expect anyone to congratulate you, and you should not expect a sticker. Because if women were to get stickers for everything they do for a child, we would have walls full of stickers. So when you're taking care of your child and doing things that you should do all day, every day, don't expect someone to pat you on the back and tell you thank you. I mean, your kids might thank you at some point in future, but society does not owe you anything. As long as that child is yours, you should be able to take care of that child. 2, women should be able to make an honest decision when a relationship breaks down. So if the father of your child is a very responsible person and you honestly feel like they will be able to take care of the child, you should not even think twice about it. I've always said that if I ever had a child with a man and we broke up, he would definitely keep the kids. They're not mine to keep, they are his to keep. And I will pay child support, I will visit the kids every now and then, and I will let him take all the credit. I mean, some of us are not even cut out to be mothers, let alone single mothers. So if I stood up and I said, listen, I can't do this, I will leave my kids with this man, why should I be apologetic about it? He can take care of the kids. No, he can definitely take care of the kids. So mothers should never be judged when they step out of the situation. And 3, women should never lower their standards to accommodate the stereotype that anybody dating them is actually doing them a favor. I mean, the fact that you are doing everything as a single mother and the fact that you're holding that house together is proof that you are absolutely capable, and nobody should be judging your ability as a partner based on the children you have. So you should never think to yourself, oh my God, he's doing me a favor because he is willing to love me and my extras. No, self-worth and self-love is very important. And the sooner you realize that, the better. You want a man who will love and respect you and will be able to take your kids under his wings and care for them as if they were his. So don't date a guy that you would never date if you didn't have kids. That's just what I'm saying, okay? Now, I know that it's a very touchy subject and we can go on until the cows come home, but my point is, mothers are working as hard as fathers and they should be given some credit for that. And single mothers have done nothing wrong. They've just lived life. They just have a lot of experience. And just as a lot of guys my age would have kids, I would expect a lot of women my age to have kids. So if we decided that everybody wants to go for people that don't have kids, then surely we'll be dating the same woman, like 10 to 1. That will be the ratio. So guys, let's have an honest conversation and let's be real. Now, if you love what you've seen and heard, leave your like below and don't forget to subscribe, okay? All right guys, bye. Cheers.